Historic and devastating flooding in Dallas, and we have just learned it has now turned deadly. The rescue's underway all day today and tonight. More than 17 million Americans are on alert for flooding into the night, with the system now on the move. In Dallas-Fort Worth, more than 9 inches in 24 hours, the highest total in 90 years. And outside Dallas, one area reporting 15 inches of rain. The high water rescues to get to families and drivers stranded all day today. The rain falling so heavily and so quickly. Drivers caught by surprise near downtown Dallas. These images from Interstate 30. Dramatic rescues from flooded underpasses. Firefighters plunging into neck-high waters, pulling drivers from their submerged vehicles. Elsewhere, the rushing water carrying cars away and simply dumping them. Cars piled up, a truck teetering off the wall. Neighborhood streets turned to rivers, flooding homes, rescue teams helping families make the dangerous journey out. Tonight, this flood threat is now pushing east. Multiple states facing flood watches and alerts at this hour. So Ginger Z is standing by on that. But first, ABC's Will Carr leading us off from Dallas tonight.
Tonight, a once-in-a-thousand-year rain event swamping the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Look at some of these totals. Southeast Dallas, potentially over 15 inches of rain. Balch Springs, where there was a lot of problems, over 12 inches of rain, so a foot of rain.
The rain moving in fast overnight, inundating urban roadways. Near downtown Dallas, this incredible scene captured by a storm chaser's drone, showing first responders swimming on Interstate 30, trying to reach stranded motorists, directing them to higher ground. Receding water revealing this pickup truck atop a highway barrier. And the rain kept coming long after sunrise.
So many cars have been stranded and abandoned in these floodwaters after we've seen more rain in the past 24 hours than this area normally gets in an entire summer.
East of Dallas and Balch Springs, families and their pets rescued from their homes surrounded by rapids.
Sooner or later, it is.
If you had a bunch of chemicals and you built a tower, could you make it rain?
No.
Well, that's the subject of tonight's weird weather.
In the early 1900s, there was a gentleman who said he could make it rain. Charles M. Hatfield. Well, he said for $50, he could deliver. Well, Los Angeles farmers said, we need rain. Will you make it rain? He did, and they were so happy, they paid him $100. Well, there was a lake in the area, Lake Hemet. He said for $4,000, he could deliver 4 inches of rain. So he made this tower and he mixed up some chemicals. Guess what? 11 inches of rain fell and it rose 22 feet. Operators say it was the best bargain they'd ever had. There was another area that needed it. San Diego City contracted him to fill Lake Marina in 1 year. If he did it, $10,000. If not, he didn't get a penny. January 1st, he put his towers up and started sending his chemicals away. January 5th, it began to rain. January 10th, heavy rain kept going, and by January 15th, it had been a downpour for nearly 5 days.
Okay, so the rain did come, and apparently it was Hatfield that was doing it, but look what happened after that. On the 19th, Marina Reservoir filled. The 26th, record-breaking rains were still falling, and the next day, dams were rupturing, huge amounts of water pouring out of the mountains, heading into San Diego. 20 people lost their lives. 35 inches of rain fell that month. Well, you can imagine there were lawsuits in the millions. The city council says, nope, we're not going to pay. Hatfield said, I'll settle for $4,000. Council said no. It went to the California Supreme Court. They ruled that was an act of God. Well, if that's the case, neither Hatfield nor the city was liable for the damages. Also, if it was an act of God, then that means Hatfield didn't do it. City council? Nope. They say they're not going to pay. Well, Charles Hatfield was known by many names. He was a cloud coaxer, a water magician, a moisture accelerator, the wizard of hope, a pluviculturalist, the great precipitator, but most of the time he was just known as Hatfield the Rainmaker.
My.
Should have bottled those chemicals. Or
Well,
maybe not.
It was
I
a
don't
secret,
know.
and even his brother didn't know, but the scientists of the day said there's no way that a man could do that. Well, he asked, well, it kept raining. Well, he was guessing lucky. Well, he guessed really, really lucky.
Yeah, he really did.
But didn't get his money.
Well, no, he didn't get his money. We'll have to find out what happened to him someday.
I propose further cooperative efforts between all the nations in weather prediction and eventually in weather control.
Think about that kind of communication and think about the opportunity that will provide. It lays the predicate and the foundation for the development of a weather satellite that will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer and ultimately to control the weather, and he who controls the weather will control the world.
What if you could fire a laser at the sky and make it rain? Oh, that sounds more interesting. Dave Malkoff explains.
Just another stormy, wet afternoon in central Florida. But what if you could pick up all this rain and move it where it's needed? Texas or California? What if a laser could start the rain?
So you can almost use it to set it off.
Matt Mills got into lasers as a kid.
It's just innately cool.
Now he's part of a team of scientists and military backers on the cutting edge of a new technology, making lasers powerful enough to reach up here into the sky where a thunderstorm is just about to start. In the near future, a push-button storm starter could be a real thing.
Just imagining this situation. If there was a rain cloud that was going to pass over an area of drought and not rain, you could, theoretically induce the rain and get the rain where it's needed.
That storm starter isn't the laser beam itself, but rather a popping energy that comes off of much higher power beams than this one. The problem is those pops have always had trouble getting into the sky. Now Matt has discovered a way to get the laser to pop all the way in the clouds. In theory, that's what starts a storm. We created a cloud of our own behind Matt's lab. A few months ago, Matt's colleagues in Arizona got this working experimentally. The next step is to get it to work in the sky.
The particles in the air are rubbing together, forming static electricity, and the conditions are now right. And they just need to be triggered now.
Does this concern you that you may be messing with Mother Nature and doing something that you don't completely understand up here in the cloud?
I suppose that's always a danger, but we're not even near to the case where it could be dangerous yet, so not too much.
It's almost like an on-off switch for a thunderstorm.
That's the idea behind it.
Right here in the cloud.
Yep.
In Orlando, Dave Malkoff, The Weather Channel.
Okay, what I want to do today is kind of go over what I'm noticing is a common response when I send somebody a clip of some of these images that are going on. What am I looking at? What am I seeing? What is this? Basically, what this is just radiation energy. This energy is coming off of these antennas, these NexRad radar systems. They're using radiation as a technology. I just recently found that there's some other technologies that are embedded in these NexRad systems. So first, what I'm going to do is kind of show you what's kind of going on in some, what I would say, hot zones. And Ohio and Michigan are probably the two hottest zones in all of the United States. There's almost one piece of square footage, if you would, of real estate in Ohio that's not being radiated. And then you can see some of these focus beams. You can see some of these focus beams that are just shooting through here. And then you see these voids. Like here's this void right here is where NexRad antenna is. Everywhere you see like a small epicenter, those are all the NexRad antennas. And sometimes in these areas, like right there, you see a void. That's a focus beam energy coming right out of this NexRad antenna, along with this plume-like presentation that you always get when they're pulsating. Okay, so here's Michigan. Michigan is where you can see the most blatant focus beam energy. And this, obviously this beam right here is coming out of Canada. This beam is fairly long. And what you'll see is multiple sporadic beams that you can see right through here. And a lot of them are just so fast, it's hard to capture on this. And I got it set to 96 frames per second. Anything slower or faster, it kind of doesn't show you what you need to see. 96 seems to be the best to set it at. And this is also the Mosaic radar. So here is New Jersey right here. And this is basically the Hamptons right here. There's a lot of energy going off in this area, and it's a little bit different. It's almost like every cluster of NexRad technology seems to be a little bit different, but the same. They have a lot of similarities to them. But this is like 4th of July, and this is why so many people, well, one of the reasons why so many people are being run down, they're tired. This is radiation, and this is just one layer. This is not even counting what the cell phone towers are doing, or what the microwave drones attached to cell phone towers are doing. It's not even counting what your radiation device is doing in your pocket, your cell phone, your smartwatch, you know, your Fitbit, your Bluetooth in your car, all your devices at home. If you just want to kind of get a good picture of what's going on in your home, for all those people who have multiple wireless devices, Bluetooth devices, Wi-Fi emitting machines, every single device and machine, regardless of how small or how big, is lighting your house up just like this with radiation. One of my videos was recently called Beam Steering, right? And somebody responded to me, was like, and they were like, is that even a thing? Is there such thing as this beam steering you speak of? So, well, yeah, there is. And so let's just look right here. Here's a paper from UMass at Amherst. And this college has actually done all kinds of research in the past that, I mean, associated with even chemtrails. They even put chemtrails on blast a long time ago, but of course nothing was done about it. And so let's look a little bit deeper into the paper. And so, yeah, right here, beam steering control, systems for low-cost phased array. And phased array technology is just brutal radiation. So I'm not going to sit here and go over this whole thing. I'll leave a link in the description box for you to look at it if you wish to. And this just goes all the way back to 2014, mind you. And so what is radiation? It's on the electromagnetic spectrum. So most people want to think of radiation as something like nuclear. Or, you know, it's not nuclear. It's just radiation. Radiation is waves, radio waves, electromagnetic waves. The same thing that your cell phone's doing, the cell phone towers are doing. All these technologies are emitting radiation. Make no mistake about it. It's all the same thing. And so now, I recently came across some information about some other usages of these NexRad antennas and some processes that they can do that you wouldn't think they're able to do. It's able to harvest tons of information. You're like, well, why would a NexRad, wouldn't it be some other type of, you know, means of harvesting data? Why would the NexRad, a radar system, a so-called radar system, be harvesting data? So here are your NexRad. They're all connected to the internet. Matter of fact, they're probably most likely a different network of internet all by itself, just like your Bluetooth is a whole another network all to itself. So here's something else I came across, and this is all on researchgate.net. The Hydro NexRad 2 is real-time access to customized radar rainfall for hydraulic applications. These systems are able to deliver rain products. So when we're thinking about delivery systems, I don't know how many people understand what delivery systems are or targeted technologies are. And there's tons of targeted technologies in pharmaceutic type interventions and stuff like that. And so when you think of delivery systems, there's even delivery systems in your dish detergent, your laundry detergent. What are they targeting, right? You know, they're not targeting germs. They're not targeting stains in your shirts. And these same systems through these NexRad, they're targeting something, and it's you. So you have to look at yourself as a mailbox. And these NexRad systems are delivering a package. And the package is meant for you, or all of us. And so just go and look up some patents and stuff when it comes to delivery systems, pegulated nanoparticles, polyethylene glycol, all these things that are in our soaps, are in our medicines. They're all gasoline products that they're trying to inject into us. So that's all I got. Be safe. Take care.
For thy